Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Vadibha Shakacharya Ashtotaras Simad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. First, I would like to say to all of you, it's a great pleasure to be here and have your association. And those of you, which is all of you who are here, are sheltered under the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Madhava, Shri Shri Gornitai, and Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. So therefore, it's a great privilege to have this opportunity to try to do some service. Well, today we're speaking on 11th Canto, 5th chapter, text number 37. You're going to translate? Or?
Translation is going on parallelly.
Okay.
So, Harika Prabhu is translating.
Okay. You translate?
He will translate simultaneously.
Alternately, or you'll
simultaneously.
You'll sit with him and translate.
No, he is already translating simultaneously. You can continue in English. He will speak in.
Okay.
Translate in Hindi.
Okay. So the translation is taken care of.
Yes, Maharaj. Also,
simultaneously.
Simultaneously.
Oh.
Also, just 1 minute, Maharaj. So it's our great privilege for us to be here, having Maharaj ji here. Maharaj traveling extensively all over India, visiting many places, but still he took out time for all of us to be here and giving us a valuable association and direction in our spiritual life. Those devotees who have been very strongly connected to Srila Prabhupada and the Parampara, to have their association and getting right direction is very, very important, because in the age of Kali, there are so many distractions and we are always covered with so much of ignorance. So having Maharaj is a great privilege and great fortune. Maharaj will be giving today Bhagavatam class, and today evening also will have Prerna class for the youths. So let us take full advantage of Maharaj's association, and let us welcome once again Maharaj to Kanpur by loudly chanting one Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Nahyata paramo labho dehinam brahmyatamiha yato bindetta paramam shantim nasyati samshiti. Nahyata paramo labho dehinam brahmyatamiha yato bindetta paramam shantim nasyati samshiti. Nahyata paramo labho dehinam brahmyatamiha yato bindetta paramam shantim nasyati samshiti. Yata paramo brahmo dehinam brahmyatamiha yato bindetta paramam shantim nasyati samshiti. Yata paramo labho dehinam Dehinam Brahmyatamiya Yato Vindeta Paramam Nityam Nashati Samshati Mahyayata Paramo Labo Ramadamiya Vindeta Parama Nahyata Paramo Labo Dehinam Brahmatamiya Yato Vindeta Paramam Santim Nashati Samshati Yatta Paramo Labo Vaishnavis Nayatta Paramo Labo Dehinam Brahmyatamiha Dovindat Antim Nashati Samshati. Na, there is no. He, indeed. Ata, than this process of Sankirtan. Parama, greater. Labha, thing to be gained. Dehinam, for the embodied souls. Brahmyatam, who are being forced to wander. Iha, throughout this material universe. Yata, from which Vindita, one obtains Paramam, the Supreme, Shanti, peace, Nashati, and is destroyed. Samshruti, the cycle of repeated birth and death. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Well, not Srila Prabhupada, actually. Srila Prabhupada's servants. Indeed, there is no higher possible gain for the embodied souls forced to wander throughout the material world than the Supreme Lord's Sankirtan movement, by which one can attain the supreme peace and free oneself from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Everyone can please repeat. Indeed, there is no higher possible gain for embodied souls forced to wander throughout the material world than the Supreme Lord's Sankirtan movement, by which one can attain supreme peace and free oneself from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Purport. In the Skanda Purana, as well as other Puranas, there is the following statement. Maha Bhagavata Nityam Kalo Kurvanti Kirtanam. During Kali Yuga, the greatest devotees of the Lord always engage in kirtan, chanting the Lord's holy names. It is the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be merciful. And He is especially merciful to those who, in a helpless condition, take complete shelter of His lotus feet. One can immediately take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by chanting His holy names. According to Sridhar Swami, even in previous ages, such as Satya Yuga, it was not possible for the living entities to achieve the perfection that is available in Kali Yuga. Om Jnanatimirandasya Ganam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Jadati Swaparantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Deshatardine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I stopped here in the purport because this is a very important aspect of this purport. Looking for one. The Sankirtan movement. In the previous verse, it says that Kalim Sabha Jayan Arya, that those who are Arya, Arya means, according to, I think it's here in the purport, that Srila Prabhupada's definition of Arya means someone who is progressive in spiritual life. But the definition here, it gives us previous verse gives a specific definition that gunagya sarabhagina, that a person who is progressive in spiritual life knows gunagya. They know the highest quality, sarabhagina, which brings the greatest fortune. And what is that? Jatto sankirtane naiva. To engage in the Sankirtan movement, tasvarto balibhyate, that it is the highest benefit for the living entity. Now here in this verse, Shantim nashyati samshritaha. So samshritaha, or freedom, or here nashyati samshritaha, freedom from the cycle of birth and death, is repeated again and again. But for the pure devotee of the Lord, it is not the goal. The pure devotee, because freedom from the cycle of birth and death means I want Krishna to stop my suffering. Otherwise, I want to engage Krishna in my service. I want Krishna to make me happy. So, when we come to the platform of pure devotional service, and therefore it says first, Shantim. First you come to the platform where there's no more disturbance. And then you will be free from the cycle of birth and death. Don't make be freedom from the cycle of birth and death to the goal. It is simply the result. Just like Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Jnaniyat Yasu Vairagyam Jnananchahaya Haitukam, that if you perform devotional service, then you will get knowledge. Just like the other day, I was in a program with one politician who was very knowledgeable. Everything he spoke about knowledge. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he requests Ramananda Roy to explain the highest goal in life, he says one thing after another. He even says, Sarvanam, he speaks about Varnashram, which is very important, because Srila Prabhupada wanted to establish, just 2 days before Srila Prabhupada left, he said why he wanted to establish Varnashram. He said, bring people to the platform of Satya, of Sattva Gun. Because unless there is Sattva Gun is seen as the goal of life, just like there are two types of philosophers in this material world, the dualists or the Dvaitas and the Advaitas. In modern Dvaitas, which we have a tendency to do sometimes in our movement, they put God or Krishna or God, whatever their conception is of the Supreme, be it Krishna or God or Jehovah, whatever Allah, so high that unattainable. Now we say adoksaja, that the Supreme is adaksha aja, beyond the perception of sense gratification or the sense perception. But we don't say he's unattainable. Because if he's unattainable, what is the tendency? The tendency is, therefore, let me, he put me here and let me engage in sense gratification. Not my fault. Without a thorough understanding of Bhagavad Gita, how can we understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So these are the dualists, of the materialistic dualists. They have some faith in God. They have some piety. But they lose the effects of their piety by engaging in unlimited sense gratification. And then when things go wrong, they turn to God. And therefore thinking that nashati samshritihi, that the purpose of life is to get rid of suffering, is actually thinking that piety or spirituality means an insurance policy. That let Krishna be my insurer. He will give me insurance policy. So we want to get something from Krishna. So therefore here it says, and this whole chapter is about the 4 yugas. But the beginning of the chapter, Chamasa Muni is question, why are people not taking advantage of spiritual life? This whole inquiry begins from King Nimi in the 2nd chapter, when he says, Atta atyatikam kshemam, that prichchamo bhavato nagaha samsmariting shanopi va, that what is it? Satsanga shivadir ninam, that he says, I'm so happy to meet you, great saintly person, because in this material world, durlabha manusho deho, it's very difficult to get a material body. And dehinam, for those who have material bodies, kshana banguraha, you can very easily lose it, just very quickly. A little mosquito, can take you. Sometimes people lift weights and try to become very powerful, or they have a lot of money or a lot of power, or bodyguard. But you can have all the bodyguards in the world, even a little microbe. Doesn't even take a mosquito. Just one little microbe can take away the power of the greatest, most powerful person in this world. But they don't realize that. No. But a devotee has to realize that. And therefore, this body rarely achieved, and it can be taken away at any moment. And therefore, tatrapi, but I think, tatrapi durlabham manye, I think that the most difficult thing in this world is not getting a human body. It is, once getting a human body, once I have that human body, that Vaikunta Priya Darshanam, to take advantage of the association of devotees. So that's how King Nimi began this chapter, this whole thing, which is winding up right in a few more verses, which are very wonderful verses, the next few verses. So in the previous verse he said, Sankirtan movement. And so now it's saying, if you engage in this Sankirtan movement, Dehinam Brahmyatam Iha, no, you will get Paramo Labho. You will get this wherever you are in whatever condition of life. No. So this was the whole purpose of the analysis of the previous verses. In Satya Yuga it was like this, in Treta Yuga it was like this, in Dwapara Yuga it was like this, and now in Kali Yuga, supposedly the most miserable time. No. But it says, no. What do we get? A few verses back, there are two verses glorifying Lord Chaitanya. Jayam Sada Paribhavognam Abhishtadoham. That if you want Abhishtadoham, you want the greatest benefit, the most wonderful, most perfect benefit in society. If you want that, then this is what you can achieve by this Sankirtan movement. Because this whole section begins in verse 32, by describing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then, if you worship his lotus feet, well, you get the supreme Abhishtadoham, the supreme goal, not the supreme wish, otherwise the real desire of the living entity, which is within the heart of the pure living entity. And that is pure devotional service. And when we don't have Krishna, then we try to find that perfection in something external. Family, society, as Srila Prabhupada would say, family, society, love. These three major goals. And then it describes in two wonderful verses all the benefits of worshipping the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is being described here. Complete shelter of these lotus feet. And Sridhar Swami says that in Satya Yuga this was not possible. Now the analysis will come why it's not possible. But this was the emphasis on the last few verses, that you get shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what can they give you? Titaspatam Shiva Vardinchinutam Sharanyam. They can give you the Shiva, Brahma and Shiva, who are giving shelter to so many living entities. They take shelter of Chaitanya. Their ability to give shelter is coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is coming from Radha and Krishna. They cannot give shelter by themselves. Emphasizing so that, otherwise, the Bhagavatam here is emphasizing, therefore none of us should think that I am the shelter giver. No. I am the via medium. If I get the opportunity to participate in this Sankirtan movement, I am the instrument to bring people to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the parampara. That's my duty. That's what it means. That's how we connect ourselves to the Sankirtan movement. We bring others to the lotus feet, of course, through Srila Prabhupada, the Bhagavata Mahan devotee, who has brought, if you look at the, Prabhupada used to carry around a book about this thick with the 8 major commentaries on the Bhagavatam. There's 150 regular commentaries and over 1,000 Vaishnava commentaries on the Bhagavatam. And these are the 8 major in a book like this. And Srila Prabhupada expanded it into a book like this, to make it available to Kali Yuga. Make it available. Otherwise, we would never understand what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, all of these great acharyas, Chitsuk, Viragavacharya, we would never understand. Very elevated, because they're actually, what is the audience that who are they addressing? 500 years ago, or 300 years ago, or 800 years ago, who were they addressing? People who were very advanced. And Srila Prabhupada is addressing the whole world. He's addressing the most advanced, and he's also addressing the most fallen. So, of course, all of our acharyas do that to some degree, but most of their commentaries were for people who were much more elevated, and therefore Srila Prabhupada has expanded it. And our duty is to take this Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada said our movement, our mission will be complete when there is a Bhagavatam in every home. This is how we've had some success. And Prabhupada, because that way people will really understand. Just like someone sent me a video yesterday probably, I just saw it briefly, about the great achievements in India. Now they sent a rocket to the moon, and to the south side of the moon where nobody else has been. So this is the thing, everybody, let me outdo the other one. Of course, it was very good because they did it at about 10 times less the price than any other country. So yes, it's a great achievement. But from a material point of view, but Srila Prabhupada said, he said, what will they do? He said they went and they said they simply brought back rocks. He said they spent millions of dollars to collect some rocks. He said, I will sell you rocks for less price. So this is our great achievement. But anyway, the point is that this competition to be the greatest on the material platform, and therefore the Sankirtan movement is the only hope that people can get out of this mood of trying to exploit the resources of material nature to become great, which already the Bhagavatam already addresses this in the story of Prithu Maharaj. The same thing that Vena Maharaj was doing, suppress the Brahmins, suppress spirituality, and extract everything you can from the earth. And what happened? The earth dried up. And Prithu Maharaj, at first he didn't understand. Sometimes even devotees become bewildered. What is happening? But these people, by exploiting the earth will retire her resources. Just like even scientists say that the biggest problem in the future will be water. The biggest thing we'll be deprived of is water. So, chanting the holy names. Now, Sridhar Swami goes into a deep analysis from Jiva Goswami and Sridhar Swami. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this as follows. In former ages, such as Satya Yuga, human beings were perfectly qualified and easily performed even the most difficult spiritual processes, meditating for many thousands of years, practically without eating or sleeping. And Srila Prabhupada he said in his last 4 months, I always wanted to give up eating and sleeping. Now Krishna has forced me. So the point is, the 6 Goswamis gave up eating and sleeping by chanting the holy name. So something that took thousands of years previously, they did in a few years. So here, this is the comparison that's happening here. Thus, although in any age one who completely takes shelter of the Lord's holy name gets all perfection, the highly qualified inhabitants of Satya Yuga do not consider that merely moving the tongue and lips, chanting the Lord's holy name, is a complete process, and that the Lord's holy name is the only shelter within the universe. They don't come to that conclusion. They are more attracted to the difficult and elaborate yoga system of meditation, complete with sophisticated sitting postures, painstaking control of the breath, and deep, extended meditations in trance on the personality of Godhead within the heart. In Satya Yuga, sinful life is practically unheard of, and therefore people are not afflicted with the terrible reactions seen in Kali Yuga, such as world war, famine, plague, drought, insanity. Nowadays, insanity is becoming more and more popular. Even people, they try to become insane. Taking alcohol, drugs, you become insane for a few hours. And some people, if they could take it so long, they become completely insane. So becoming insane, imagine how degraded life has become. To become insane is like one of the most popular activities. That's how insane they are. They're so insane that they're taking shelter of insanity. So Srila Prabhupada, His mercy, is giving us sanity. Although in Satya Yuga people always worship the personality of Godhead, what's the problem? As the ultimate goal of life, and meticulously followed His laws called dharma. They do not feel themselves to be in a helpless condition, and thus they do not always experience intense love for the Lord. So here it is. Even pious people, they want to achieve something like Satya Yuga. They want, let's make everything materially nice. That's just like one big materialist, Rockefeller. His goal, actually he revealed, one of his sons revealed the goal. The goal is to move everyone into the cities and then feed them. You feed them. Then some people will be in charge of providing food for these cities, and let the forest flourish. Otherwise, they think, don't follow some religious process. We've got it all figured out through technology. That will put everybody in the cities, will provide synthetic food, and then we'll grow new forests and everything. We'll replenish the planet. And so that's their idea. Then the idea will be promote not having children, so the population will decrease, and then we'll restore the planet to its original condition. Otherwise, I am God. That's what they think. We got it all figured out. But he died, and he didn't achieve that. But still, materialistic people, just like here in India, you cannot buy a piece of land and farm it and make profit. With how much you have to pay for land, an ordinary person cannot buy 5 acres of land and farm it and make it profitable. Actually, we do have a method to do that, but I can explain that another time. But the land, why is that? That makes more people go to the city. Otherwise, land becomes very valuable. People sell their land and they go to the cities. And then they are engaged in the industrial, as Prabhupada said, the Ugra Karma. They all engage more and more people in Ugra Karma. So this is happening everywhere. People are giving up. In the U.S., less than 2% of the people are engaged in agriculture. Still in India, it's about 25%, 27%, something like that. But, so-called developed countries, 2, 3, 4, 5%, most engaged in it. The one thing that everybody needs is food. The one thing. Prabhupada said you can't live on nuts and bolts. But the one thing is the thing that people less engage themselves in. Pretty amazing. Anyway. However, in Kali Yuga, living conditions are so unbearable, modern governments are so obnoxious, our bodies are so ridden by physical and mental disease, and even self-preservation is so troublesome that the conditioned souls intensely cry out the holy name of Krishna, begging for relief from the onslaught of this age. When we read Krishna Lila, this happens again and again in Vrindavan. The main part of the whole Vrindavan Lila in Bhagavatam is mostly about Krishna killing one demon after another and the devotees taking full shelter of him. That's the main portion, of the whole, one demon after another, one difficulty, and how Krishna is giving shelter, so that we understand this is the goal. Because we're conditioned souls, and therefore our tendency is not to take shelter of Krishna, or to only take shelter when there's no other recourse. Otherwise, you try everything else. Srila Prabhupada speaks about this in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 10 in the purport. Vita Ragabhaya Krodha. That people anyway, I won't go into that, but it's a long purport. But it's a very great difficulty, to life becomes so miserable that people first, they're attached, then they're fearful because that attachment creates so many difficulties, and then krodha, they become very angry, and they give up the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, the members of the Krishna consciousness movement have vivid and unforgettable experiences of the terrible contradictions inherent in human society in this age, and thus they are firmly convinced that there is nothing to be achieved except the mercy of the Supreme Lord. In ISKCON centers throughout the world, we observe wonderfully ecstatic kirtan performances in which men, women, and children from all walks of life chant with startling enthusiasm the holy names of Krishna and dance in ecstasy, becoming completely indifferent to the so-called public opinion. In America, a prominent professor from Oberlin College visited a Hare Krishna center in California and was astonished by the enthusiasm with which the devotees chant the holy name of Krishna in their congregational performances. So many times Srila Prabhupada would speak with priests, Christian priests, and they would say, why are our young people leaving our church? They've left our churches and now they're coming to you? And Prabhupada said, because we're presenting a scientific process of Krishna consciousness. That's why. So we have to understand this. I read one commentator of the Bhagavatam, and he said, all these stories in the Bhagavatam are not found in Vedanta Sutra. It's only because this expansion of Vedanta Sutra through the Puranas is necessary for people who cannot within their consciousness expand from the philosophical basis of Krishna consciousness, expand it into the Krishna's Leela. And therefore so many other stories are necessary, meaning Mahabharata, Ramayana, so expanded stories of the pastimes of the Lord. And the Lord performed these pastimes especially for the people of Kali Yuga. Otherwise his pastimes are unlimited. Even Sheshanaga cannot properly recount the pastimes of the Lord, even though he has thousands of mouths. So what can we do? But what we can do is give shelter to these people. Due to their helpless and pathetic condition, living entities in Kali Yuga have a great impetus to surrender fully to the holy name of Krishna, putting all their hope and faith in the Lord's holy name. Kali Yuga, therefore, is the best age, because in this age, more than in Satya Yuga or other ages, the conditioned souls become disgusted with the kingdom of illusion, and surrender fully to the Lord's holy name. This status of full surrender is called Paramashantim, or supreme peace, which is not just peace, not the peace of going to the countryside. Just like I saw some people this morning walking here in the temple premises. They're coming here to run or to do their exercises. They want material peace. They don't understand this place is for Paramashantim, spiritual peace. No. They want peace for the body. Let me make my body nice and healthy, and then I can enjoy. No. But still, they're coming and they're taking shelter of the devotees in a very external way. No. So we provide that. No. And then they'll take some prasadam, and then they'll get purified. So we're here for all classes of people. No. We're not just here for some particular class of people. So anyway, I'll just finish the purport and make one point because time is already up. Sri Madhvacharya has quoted a passage from the book Swabhavya to the effect that a bona fide spiritual master in disciplic succession is able to understand the mentality and capability of his disciples and engage them in worshiping the particular form of the Lord suitable for them. So this is very important. Otherwise one may say, if all the knowledge is here in the Bhagavatam, why do I need a spiritual master? Here is the answer. First of all, we're addicted to our swabhava. For the book is called Swabhavya. How to deal with your swabhava. Because otherwise, we could just read. We have Prabhupada's purports. We could just read. But that we will subject Prabhupada's purports to our conditioning. That is our tendency. Just like why otherwise why is there so much dissension among devotees? Because they all have their own interpretation of Prabhupada's purports other than full surrender. Or some people, their full surrender is so fanatical that they condemn other devotees. That the way they're trying to fully surrender. So this is our conditioned nature. Instead of Paramashantim, we have Parama Ashantim sometimes. We're arguing among ourselves for no reason. So it says, a particular form suitable. This is discussed by Lord Brahma, that he says that the Lord, when one, this is a very important point, Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavitya Hrit Saruja. I'll say, the Lord goes into, situates himself in the heart of the living entity. When the entity is that Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Hrit Saruja, he situates himself there when the person is fully situated in bhakti, totally surrendered. And how do you become totally surrendered? That Shutakshita Patunana Nata Pumsam. You become fully surrendered by seeing through the ears. Literally, we see through the ears. We don't see through these eyes. They're very defective. Therefore, Krishna says, Pashyante Jnana Chakshushaha. You see through the eyes of knowledge, which come into the ears. And then ultimately, the best eye is Bilokayanti, the eye of the heart. That is the best eye. So, but these eyes, we tend to see everything through these eyes, and they're very defective. But we can see the Bhagavatam through them, and they become very effective. So, and then Lord Brahma says, Yad Yad Diya Ta Urugaya Vibhavayanti. Then I give, I will appear in Tat Tad Bapu Pranayasi Shadanugrahaya to distribute my mercy I will appear in the form which a devotee desires. But what devotee? A devotee who is fully purified. Otherwise, the Lord becomes subordinate to his devotee, just like we just finished Damodar Leela. The whole purpose of that Leela is to show how the Lord becomes fully surrendered to his devotee. So I'll just finish here, the last paragraph. The general rule, in this way the spiritual master destroys all the obstacles on the path of his disciples. So this is the duty of the Guru, to make sure, to understand the disciple, and to make sure. So if a Guru has many disciples, he has to engage others in this process. Otherwise, we're not doing what is recommended here. This is coming from Madhvacharya. The general rule is that one must worship the particular form of the Lord that appears in the current yuga. One may also offer his love and worship to other forms of the Lord that who appear in other ages. And specifically, one is recommended to chant the holy names of Lord Nrsimhadev to get all protection. Practically all of these injunctions are being carried out within the ISKCON movement. Within the Krishna conscious society, men, women, and children are all being engaged in worshiping the Lord according to their particular natures. In addition, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order, we are worshiping Balaram and Krishna, who appeared in Dwarka Yuga, because they are the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And why else? Because they have appeared as Gaur-Nitai. We worship them so that we can understand who is Gaur-Nitai. And similarly, by chanting Dasharat Stotra, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, and by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the members of ISKCON worship all of the plenary expansions of the Personality of Godhead. After every arati performance, devotional prayers are duly chanted to Lord Nrsimhadev for the protection of this movement, which is so essential to human society. So it's a very long purport. And so just in conclusion, this is the conclusion. This movement is essential to human society. It is essential. We must make sure that we are very seriously practice Krishna consciousness. We are seriously practicing. Because we have been given a great mission by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and by Srila Prabhupada, the representative in the parampara, the one amongst so many disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur who understood what was needed. The movement to spread throughout the world and bring people to the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is recommended in the previous verses here. Vande Mahapurusha te charanarabindam. Everyone must come to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Mahapurusha, and that Mahapurusha is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this age of Kali, he is the Mahapurusha, just like it says here in the purport. In other ages, there are other Purushas, but the Mahapurusha, who can even give more than what was given in other ages. Because in Kali Yuga we have the great this is the subject matter of the next verse. In Kali Yuga, the advantage is that it's so miserable that we can actually become helpless. In Satya Yuga they cannot become helpless. In other yugas where they have elaborate deity worship or elaborate yagyas, they don't become completely helpless. No. Some people do, but most people don't. But in this age, people are automatically helpless. Although they're false egos, they think, no, I'm in control. But so Kali Yuga will continue its onslaught until people realize this. And then the Sankirtan movement can flourish beyond our own imagination. No. Just like India is sending a rocket to the moon. No. So the realization that will come from this Sankirtan movement, that will, when it overcomes the world. And what does that have to do with us? We have the opportunity to be in the forefront, to participate. This movement is just taking off, just starting to take off here in India. Everybody knows ISKCON, no? But now we have to make sure that ISKCON comes up to their expectations and doesn't let them down. This is our responsibility. No? And therefore we have to be very careful that we don't become comfortable or complacent and think that it's all right, I'm here in the temple, I have a nice place in the ashram. No, we have to go out and give the Sankirtan movement to the world. And all of you born in India, Srila Prabhupada says, you have this specific responsibility. Even more than those of us that were born in Militia land. We're just getting some special mercy. But all of you, according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have to do this. And Srila Prabhupada says, don't even just do it in India. You must go out beyond India. So don't get too comfortable in the ashram or in your homes. No. We have to take this movement. Just like Mataji here, she's going around at advanced age, traveling in different parts of the world. No? And some of you young men are feeling comfortable. No? So take advantage of here. She's doing what Srila Prabhupada is requesting us to do in the 9th chapter of Adi Lila. And so none of us should become comfortable. We should take advantage of these examples. How Srila Prabhupada, his faithful disciples, Devakinanda Prabhu is also traveling outside, giving, not that everybody has to go outside, but whether we're outside or inside, we have to go out, and give Krishna consciousness to the world. So anyway, I'm sorry I went a little over time, but this is a long purport. So I'll stop here. I don't think there's time now for questions. Maybe one question, if there is one. Although everything was very clear, but
हरे कृष्ण महाराज जी, थैंक यू महाराज जी, आप बता रहे थे पर्पट में इसमें in this purport is coming that the main how to overcome the reincarnation, birth and death. So in material world, Maharaj ji, the people are so busy in this material world for the taking like money, after beauty, so many things. So they don't feel to need overcome to birth and death. And for me, when till that time in the association of devotee, I feel to need overcome the birth and death. Or after, if we leave association of devotee, we don't think about this. We only think about money, beauty, and so on. So how to tell people? So this is most important part for our human life. So
Srila Prabhupada said, you don't need money. He said, therefore we have these temples. You can come stay in the temple, you will get Krishna Prasadam, and you simply engage in Krishna consciousness. No. But because we believe more the materialist than Prabhupada, we think, no, I have to go out and make money. No. This is Prabhupada, he said this many times. He said, you come, you stay here, and you promote the Sankirtan movement, and Krishna will give everything. By yajna, everything comes. And this is the Sankirtan yajna. So, if more people come and surrender, we will build another few buildings, and then everybody will go out on Sankirtan and convince the world that you're all in Maya. But we don't want to provide a place for eating and sleeping. We want to provide for people who want to surrender, give their lives to Krishna. And then, so the point is, if anyone thinks I need money, then yes, you can do that. And then, but how do you use your money? That's the important thing. No problem to make money. Srila Prabhupada says in, I think it's 18:7 in the purport in Bhagavad Gita, that if someone has the ability to make money and doesn't do it, this is renunciation in the mode of passion. No. Otherwise, if you can make money, do it, but then use it for Krishna. No. So, no problem. No. But we can't just get caught up in this mentality that, oh, I have to make money. No. You don't have to. You want to. No. If you really don't want to make money, then come, surrender. No. Just like one time Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture in Delhi, and one man said, why do you have all these Western sannyasis? And Srila Prabhupada said, you want to see Indian sannyasi? He said, yes. He said, come here right now. Come, I will give you sannyas. No. Of course, at that time, now we have Indian sannyasi, but at that time there weren't many. No. So that's the challenge. If you want to make money, that's all right. Most people will have that inclination because we don't have the full faith that if I just surrender everything will be taken care of. So therefore, that's what brahmacharya means. But the brahmacharya cannot be comfortable. Brahmacharya has to be a little uncomfortable. No? Otherwise, if brahmacharya is too comfortable, in Los Angeles they call this creamsicle. Creamsicle is an ice cream that has white ice cream and orange on the outside. So the devotees, brahmacharis that are too comfortable, they call them creamsicles. That they're white on the inside and orange on the outside. So brahmacharya means not so comfortable. Means that I've surrendered. I'm here in the ashram. I can't just take, here's everything, so many funds are coming, people are giving big donation, and I can do a little service. One devotee in Delhi, he came to head pujari, told me that he's only doing 3 hours of service. I said, Prabhu, you have to do 24 hours of service. That's what it means to live in the ashram. It's not 3 hours, 24 hours. Otherwise, go get married and, work hard. And then you'll appreciate what this money means. It means something that will nourish, it means something to be given to the Sankirtan movement for printing books, distributing prasadam. It's like we have our prasadam building here, a whole building for distributing prasadam. This is what we use money for, not for being comfortable. If you want to be comfortable with money, then you go out and you work. One devotee, I'll finish with this. One devotee came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, I'm thinking about getting married, and so is it all right if I just do Sankirtan? And I can, then I'll be distributing books and I can make money. Prabhupada said, no, you must work. So after he left, the devotee's secretary asked, Prabhupada, but isn't it good that he wants to do Sankirtan? He said, he wants to enjoy. He said, Sankirtan means sacrifice. Even if you're grihastha, if you do Sankirtan, you must live like a Brahmin. Not that you use Sankirtan for living comfortably. Otherwise, better you work. If you want to enjoy your senses, you work hard. And then you understand the cost, the price of sense gratification. So anyway, these are some thoughts. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for a very enlightening class. Started from Sattva, Param Shanti, and how we should go out and give this Krishna consciousness to others. That is the ultimate goal. Let us thank Maharaj from bottom of our heart by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Also will be giving evening a prerna lecture to the youths from 5 o'clock to 6:30. So devotees can bring their friends and invite them to have program in the evening at 5 o'clock. And tomorrow mornings also Bhagavatam class will be there. So devotees can take full advantage of Maharaj association.